Church on Sunday was without question. We didn't have a choice.
Growing up, it was standard to go to Sunday school, of course, go to church, go to Sunday school convention, which was usually over the summer. So church was pretty much life.
Early on Sunday morning, once we got up, got a shower, got dressed, when he walked out the door and got in his truck, if we were not in that truck, we were in deep trouble. So it was very much so a necessity as we grew up.
It's kind of changed. I'll be honest with you. Growing up, it was the church was the backbone. What I see now is a whole community building up. We have a lot of churches in Gaston County, probably about 400 that's actually listed. But when we're talking about actually playing a role in setting the tone for the county, it's going to be more of a community effort.
Yes, it's a lot different. Actually, I had this conversation with my 3 kids this morning when we pulled in. I was telling my kids I went to Sunday school every Sunday, never missed a Sunday, up until I think I was about 16, 17 years old. A lot of my generation, we've moved up, moved on, and we've gone to other churches. And part is not just St. Hebron Church, but it's the AME Church altogether. A lot of AME Church is still stuck on tradition. Unfortunately, tradition is no longer important to a lot of people. So a lot of my generation that had kids, like I said, they moved on, they're moved in different places. And so everybody in here is members still, they're old. I mean, not old, but seasoned saints.
The culture is completely different now. A lot of kids don't grow up in the church, and I think maybe it has a lot to do with the age of the parents. A lot of my classmates and people who are around my age started having children earlier. And so a lot of times, I guess if it wasn't generational, they may not see the importance of it. And so, after the COVID culture, the way church attendance was, I think, dropped dramatically because there are a lot of other options. You didn't have to go in person anymore.
I do think there's a difference in just how Quincy has evolved over the years. Because I'm in education and work with kids now, I don't like to blame the kids totally. I definitely think they have more issues than we had, or more exposure, more things that they may have had to deal with than we did.
There's just so many ways that the foundation of our homes is not there, bottom line.
The economy isn't booming in Gaston County. So you almost have to go somewhere else to get what you need.
So yeah, a lot of people move away. Right now, it's about survival, so income is a big part of survival. And there's not much here to do to survive.
Some of the constituents, they have their kids in school in Tallahassee, and that plays a role and has an effect on the public school. And it plays a role with the county as it relates to our economic growth.
I would say you gotta move out of Quincy. There's not any colleges in Quincy at all. So you can go to TSC, you can go to FSU, but Quincy-wise, you're not gonna get much in education.
The city of Quincy itself physically doesn't even look the same. A lot of the restaurants are closed. A lot of the grocery stores are closing. It just looks scarce.
If you wanna do things with friends, you're gonna have to go to Tallahassee or something to skate, or we have restaurants and stuff, but they only started opening about a couple months ago and starting last year or so.
One of my pet peeves, and one of the things that I can get on my soapbox about, is the fact that Quincy sits in the back door of how many major universities, 3, 4, or whatever. But still, you've got so many people who they don't know where to go to find the resources that they need. For the most part, Gaston County has more of an issue with mental health illness, and that's, I think, because of the fact that the county is overall is a highly impoverished county. You know, if I'm about to be thrown out of my house, it's getting cold, and so what am I going to do?
Most people may know the Black community, but we don't seek professional help a lot with the psychiatrist or a therapist. So a lot of people, the church is where that mentorship or that counseling piece came from.
Those of us who are educated, we are all about getting mine for my family and all of that, as opposed to wanting to be in a position where they could provide services or at least provide them with information so that they know where to go to get what they need.
For my friends who leave and don't come back, it's always there's nothing there for me. I'll be honest, my number one reason for coming back was my grandmother. And then number two, my passion for just assisting youth in the area who may need that mentorship or that guidance.
Even though I grew up in the country, I'm not a country girl. So like my relatives have, I guess, like vacant land and stuff in Quincy. So it wouldn't be bad to build a house in retirement on that land, but it would be in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of animals that I don't. Take that out. Let me start over.
If we're able to bring in industry which draws in the young working class, or to maintain those young people that are here, then we'll begin to see a shift.
Finish, the scripture says if you train up a child in the way they should go, when they get older, they won't depart. And what that means to me is that you leave away from home and you explore just to see what's what. But the training that you got from your mom, your dad, is still back here calling you home. It's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to answer that call.
I encourage them to follow their heart and do what they want to do. Like I told them this morning now, I was like, church and school, you don't have a choice. You're gonna go. We're gonna support them. If they wanna stay here, we're gonna do whatever we can to help them out. Or if they wanna move away, we're gonna support them in that too. So it's just being there to support them and hope they make the right choices.
I would say to that graduate, your future, you define it. And make sure that what you're choosing is something that you're going to enjoy and you're able to give back to your community, whether that be you coming back to Gaston County and giving through your talents there, or that may be you going somewhere else